Hey, welcome back. It's me again, your girl Melanin Audacity, and thank you for watching. We made it to part three. Thank you so much for all your support. Um, Again, you see the red button, subscribe button, push that, click it. And then once you click it, the button next to it with the little bell on it that says notifications. I'm sorry, it don't say nothing. It's just a bell. Just click it anyway. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos directly to your cell phone, your email, however you decide or determine you'll get those notifications. But you have to set that up in your YouTube account or through your Google account, or just check back every couple of weeks or so. Anyway, we made it to part three that I promised, and this is part three of, I'm not even sure how many it's going to be because I am still doing the ninth and 10th generation, and it took me three videos to do it. So this is the third and final installation of the ninth and 10th generation. Like I said in the first video, I represent the 14th generation. So I haven't even gotten to my generation yet. So this is just the ninth and 10th generation. And in this video, we're going to look at um, what happened, what historical events happened during my great grandparents of my ninth and 10th generation great grandparents' lives. Um, what happened? So I've been promising you that in two videos. Now I'm getting to it. So let's get started. Again, I need to share my video. Give me a second. Let me share. Un momento, darling. Un momento. Un momento. Un momento. Okay, I finally fixed the glitch. Got the PowerPoint ready to go. Because sometimes people watch certain videos, you will hear me repeating the same information because I have to assume that this is someone's first time watching the video. So just really quick, I'm your girl Melanin Audacity. You can follow me across all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then here on YouTube at Melanin Audacity. Thank you. I appreciate you for following me. I am not active right now because I'm trying to learn how to get these videos and I'm doing research for upcoming topics. It takes a lot of my time. But in the future, I will become very, sorry about that, primping. That's not cute. I will become more active than I have been. But again, if you want to know more about me and the channel, I suggest that you look at the first video that's called the intro. I think I have two intros, but the family history intro, just so that you can get some background on me and what I intend to do with this channel. But for right now, this is part three of the family history of my ninth and 10th generation. And I appreciate you being here and thank you for support. Again, if you are feeling very generous, you can, my Cash App information is in the description box. Again, doing research, these programs cost money, cameras cost money, equipment costs money. I'm not asking for money for shoes or things of that nature. I really want to bring some really good content with really good structure to, having backgrounds and things and paying, I gotta pay somebody to edit videos and do all that kind of stuff. And it costs money. So that's what I'm gonna use it for. Cameras, things of that nature, lights, everything. Right now I'm broke. This what it is, PowerPoint. But there are other ways, but you know what? Trying to wait till I had the money. No, I need to get this video out. So this is why I hope you enjoy it and don't think it's janky. It's the best I could do. Okay, don't come for me with that. I'm just kidding. But let's get started. This is part three, and as you noticed, I'm recording all three of these at the same time, and it is very late tonight at this point. But let's move on. So I learned a lot as the, like I said before, not as much as I would have liked to. Again, with regard to my ninth and 10th generation, there's a 31-year difference between my grandmother, my great grandparents on my mother's side than my paternal grandparents. I thought that was unusual. But there's a 31-year difference. So my paternal great grandparents are 31 years older than my maternal great grandparents. So, you know, um, it is what it is. That was something I realized and I thought I would share. Um, these are my great grandparents and their parents and their parents, like I showed at the end of part two, that I discussed there. If you want to get, hear what I was saying during that, this is just kind of a recap for people who have not, who have seen the video, or if this is your first one, to kind of bring you up to speed. This is my ninth generation great grandparents, where I don't have many of the names. So the 8765432 I don't know any of those names, right? Was able to locate names here in the ninth generation. 10th generation, this is my great grandmother's mother and father on my mother's side. This is my maternal side. This is my great grandmother. We called her Big Mama. I was able to meet her. I was a teenager when she passed away. I think I was about 12 or 13, something somewhere around there. Um, my great grandfather, I did know him. I was 16 when he passed away. Kufi or Cuffy, not really sure how to pronounce it. This is my great grandfather as well. This is my mother's dad's mother and father, right? And then on the paternal side, the O'Bannon family, this is my great grandfather Leslie O'Bannon, his father S, and his mother Sarah. And then their parents, I don't know at not one of them. Caroline Gaines was Leslie's wife. We don't know her mother and father or theirs. And the same goes for my grandfather, with whom I don't know who my grandfather is. So on my father's side. So my dad's dad, I do not know. Hence the issue with the last name that I mentioned in the first video. And so this part of the family I totally don't know anything about, as far as my great grandparents on my father's side, um, on my grandfather's side. Okay, so the juice and nuts and berries of what we're talking about in this video is, we talked about we've already identified the ninth and 10th generation family members, the ones that I could, and when they were born and things of that nature, and what information I could find about them. Excuse me. But what was happening? How can we correlate these historical events and things that they teach us in history class and put it to, this is when my great grandfather was living, and how these things came on my great grandmother and things of that nature. This is why I'm doing it this way. So they had the Revolutionary War, which I covered in the intro video, the Civil War, the Emancipation, the formation of the Klan, the Reconstruction era, Civil Rights Movement, European immigration, Mexican immigration, Caribbean immigration, and World War One and Two. And hopefully now when you're watching CNN, plug, uh, and they're talking about these things or mentioning these events, it'll make sense, or you'll understand more. I'm so sorry. It's dry in here. I'm hot. I need a drink. I got me some good old Kool-Aid. My ice melted. It's hot look in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm shining. It's late. This is the third video. So I'm going to go through these things relatively quick. So one thing to mention is that some of these events overlap generations, meaning some of my ancestors' ages range from infants through adulthoods throughout these events, and where I identify that, I will let you know. So let's move on to the first one, because I covered the other ones in part one. So we've already covered The Revolutionary War, like I said in part one. Next up is the Civil War. It was fought between the United States of America and the Confederate States of America, a collection of 11 Southern states that left the Union in 1860 and 1861. The conflict began primarily as a result of the long-standing disagreement over the institution of slavery. So they not talking about having a disagreement about taxes or um, just being the rules just being unfair or just not making sense for all of the people. It was just about the institution of slavery, right? That was the long standing and is still standing disagreement over the institution of slavery and the treatment of Black Americans, people of color, Caribbean Americans, and Black biracial Americans. On February 9th, 1861, Jefferson Davis, a former U.S. Senator and Secretary of War, was elected President of the Confederate States of America by the members of the Confederate Constitutional Convention. After 4 bloody years of conflict, the United States defeated the Confederate States. In the end, the states that were in rebellion were readmitted to the United States and the institution of slavery was abolished nationwide. So when you think about, and I'm not sure that you have or understood, when they started changing those coins out, that the order in which they entered into the Union of the United States was how they released the order that they released those coins. So that's important to understand how things change, but they the same. And so they hold that to mean something. So they're responsible in that way, or that there's an order of things that we don't recognize or had not realized. So the Union states included, and these are the Union states: Maine, New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Kansas, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, California, and Oregon. And Abraham Lincoln was their president. The Confederate states include Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, North and South Carolina, and Virginia. And we how has have when I'm reading the states and looking at this, I'm like, yo, these are the same states that's having problems, giving us problems. They still red, except for Georgia. Thank God for this year. These people still 400 years later are having these same feelings. They need to come and pick them up. Jasmine needs to write a song about them picking up these feelings, honey. Anyway, Jefferson Davis was their president. So trust me when I say, I know you like, dang, I don't want to know nothing about. Trust me, listen. It was two presidents in the United States. It was a Confederate president and a Union president. It was two. So I'm gonna have another video. I don't want to get into it right here, right now, but I could see how we can make that happen again. I could see how that probably should happen again because I and I don't want to go off on a tangent, which I was just about to do, but I'm going to have another video talking just about this situation as well. But let me move on for what I'm here for today. The war was led by General Robert E. Lee and Braxton Bragg, aka the worst general. And so, if he's aka the worst general, we know what that means, don't you? If you think you know what the worst general means with regard to Robert E. Lee and Braxton Bragg, drop that in the comment section. Don't you know what that means? Tell me what it means. Or if you can guess why they labeled him that, put that in the comments. The border states are Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Missouri. My great 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 grandparents were born during wartime. Harriet Bannister in 1862 and Bankers Bannister in 1860. My great great grandfather, Alec Nelson, was born in 1841. And although I was unable to locate a date of birth for my great 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 grandmother, Nettie Nelson, who are Papa's parents, I'm sure she too was born in the 1840s before the Civil War began. On my paternal O'Bannon side, S and Sarah were born in 1850 and 1861. They were all born slaves and were young adults when the war started and when slavery was abolished. Up next, the Emancipation Proclamation. Remember earlier when I said the Emancipation Proclamation signed January 1st, 1863 by President Lincoln did not abolish slavery everywhere? Here's why. As the nation approached its third year of bloody civil war, remember the Civil War was from 1861, April 1861 to April 1865. The proclamation declared that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states, which were the Confederate states. Remember, I read off the Union states and I read off the Confederate states. So declared that, I'm going to read it again. The proclamation declared that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states, aka the Confederate states, are and henceforth shall be free. It applied only to states that had ceded from the US, leaving slavery untouched in the loyal border states. It also exempted parts of the Confederacy or Southern secessionist states that had already come under Northern control. And that's probably Delaware, West Virginia, Kentucky, or whatever those few border states were. Most importantly, the freedom it promised depended upon the Union or the United States military victory. So we only free because our ancestors fought for their lives and fought for the possibility or the understanding that we would be free if we helped them win this war. So to me, Lincoln played a chess move because cotton don't grow in Harlem. So all the northern states are now bashing the southern states, in my opinion, because their money was kind of flowing way more than the ones up in the north because that cotton was coming and going like I don't know what hotcakes. You understand? And so, in a chess move, and probably because his conscience got to him, much like that had happened to George Washington almost 100 years before, he actually pretended like he really was interested in doing something. And he may have been, and I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Um, a person who favors formal withdrawal from membership of a federation or body, especially a political state. That is the meaning of secessionist states, right? And I didn't find exactly which states were the secessionist states. I couldn't find them, and I wasn't looking that hard because it's not that important at this point. Here's a tidbit. S. O'Bannon, on my father's side, this is my great grandfather. He was born into slavery in 1850. He was 15 years old when the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. His wife Sarah was 4 years old. They were born slaves up until the ages of 15 and 4. That's a big age gap. But that's how it was back then. My great great grandparents, Jane and London Barnett Bannister, which is my big mama's um, mother and father. I mean, my mother's mother and father. They were also born slaves in 1854 and 1858. They were 11 and 7 years old. Bankers and Harriet were also born slaves and were 5 and 3 years old when the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. By contrast, Kippy Bannister was born 16 years after the 13th Amendment of 1865 abolishing slavery. And May Catherine, which is Papa's mother, was born 21 years after the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, that is. They were born free-ish, kind of, sort of, but not really.
Hey everybody, sorry for the interruption. I had to split this video into two parts due to the length. It was nearly an hour, like 59 minutes. So please check the description box below for the link to part two. And as always, thank you for your support. Now back to our closing of part one. Thanks.
Finally, up to the 11th generation, great grandparents, and the things that were happening when they were alive. Some of the events again overlap, so I will focus on new events as I move through time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and share with your family and friends. And don't forget, leave those comments as we go through. Thank you again. Thanks for watching. Let me stop sharing so I can kick it with you real quick and close out. Again, my my intention for these videos, I hope it's coming to light for you now that you see and understand what I'm doing and how I am looking to present just this family history video. Now I'm moving to the 11th generation, and depending on how much information that I uncover, I may be able to do that in maybe 2 parts, 3 parts, or whatever. But I wanted to at least get the ninth and 10th generation done. So this is the conclusion of the ninth and 10th generation. My next video, I'm going to start with the 11th generation, part one, and however many parts I need to get through the 11th generation. And remember, I'm the 14th generation. So I'm going to be at this for a minute. But I am so happy that you guys took the time, these 48, 50 minutes to actually watch the whole thing, whether it took you one sitting or you watched it over time. Please leave your comments. Let's have some conversation and share with your children. I try not to use profanity for that purpose. Um, so that you can share it with your kids, sit down and see how they feel about it and make sure that they understand. And if I have presented anything that was incorrect, then blame it on the Library of Congress, which is where I got all this information from. I'll put those links also in the description box so that you can start your own research and find and come to your own conclusion. It will be fun to speak with you. If you want to come on with me on a topic, email me, and then we can do a show together. I really want to do it that way anyway. All right, well, I'm moving on. It's already too long. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos. Subscribing does not cost anything. I know that may, make people nervous, but it's free. You can subscribe. That just means that, you are interested in the content that I am creating, and that the notification bell will notify you when I put a new video up. Like I said, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I feel like I'm leaving out something. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I guess this is YouTube because I don't do TikTok. I ain't ready for all that. I got too much going on. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.